Good morning, I'm Dr. Austin. You're welcome to today's biology class. I'll be telling you about habitats. What is a habitat? Basically, we say a habitat is the place within an ecosystem where an organism lives. Now, when we say the place where an organism lives, it's different from one's address, for example. As it stands, we live here on land. I live in Benin, for example. You may live in Lagos, Abuja, anywhere else. But it doesn't make my habitat different from yours. We are in the same habitat. We all live on land. And we are different from organisms that live in water. So basically, all living things on Earth have two possible habitats, two possible places where they live. They either live on land or live in water. Therefore, I'm saying in effect that habitats could be terrestrial or aquatic. Now, the aquatic habitat is the habitat of organisms that live in water, whereas the terrestrial habitat is that of organisms that live on land. Now, for the organisms that live on land, they could be in what we call the wetlands. Wetlands, as the name implies, are usually very wet with plenty water in them. They are nearly aquatic. Then we have the other extreme here on number 4. We call them arid land. Arid lands are also known as deserts. The word arid means dry. So while this is completely dry, that is wet. Now, in between the wetlands and the dry lands, we have two other forms of terrestrial habitats. So on number 2 here, I'm going to write forests. And number 3, I'm going to write grasslands. So, which means that the terrestrial habitat is actually of 4 types. The extremely wet, which we call the wetlands. The extremely dry, which we call the arid land or deserts. Then in between, I said we have the forests and we have the grasslands. Now, beyond these ones, for the aquatic habitat, we have 3 major forms or 3 major aquatic habitat types. There is one extreme that we refer to as the marine habitat. Then there's the next extreme that we refer to as the freshwater habitat. And then in between these, there is what is called the estuarine habitat. So, aquatic habitat, 3 divisions: the marine habitat, the estuarine habitat, and the freshwater habitat. Now, let me quickly mention that in some texts, you'll see the terrestrial habitat being divided into 5 components. They talk about the swamps, the marshes, the forests, the grasslands, and the deserts. Now, marshes and swamps together make up what we refer to as the wetlands. Now, if we were to talk about these 2 types of habitats, which I'll do in a while, we'll see clearly what differentiates one form of each type of habitats from the other. That's our main focus. What are the key differences? But just before I go into that, if you ever hear that there's a 3rd type of habitat, which some refer to as arboreal, well, I'd like to quickly tell you that there's nothing like a 3rd type of habitat as arboreal. Is there an arboreal habitat? Yes, but it is actually part of the terrestrial habitat. As a matter of fact, they say the arboreal habitat refers to life on trees. For example, birds. We say birds do not live on land, birds do not stay in water, they are on trees. But remember that the trees themselves are on land. You understand? So based on that, we say the arboreal habitat is just a subset of the terrestrial habitat. So on the basis of that, there remain just 2 types of habitats. Now, to discuss these 2 types of habitats, I would like to begin from aquatic. We'll go on a short break. After this short break, I'll return to talk about the aquatic habitat.